walk into a store and you're about to buy something, or you're about to buy a house from a real estate person, or you make a very quick decision, do I think this person has the capacity to put my interests first? And if the answer is no, then at least I know where I stand. I don't trust this person. Doesn't mean I don't deal with them, I don't work with them, but it's not in the realm of trust.
Shifting from the one-size-fits-all to now moving to the agile changes, constant shifts that are happening in the world. So what are some of the things that you knew 20 years ago that the world's going to need something different? What are some of the similar challenges that we still have that we did 20 years ago? Because we really believe that things are so much different. I have a feeling that they're more of the same with different circumstances. And how can leaders, so my second full question here is, leaders, what is it to lead? And how can leaders continue to lead similarly or differently than they always have?
What people do has changed. And I think we're on the verge of another wave of change in that area with artificial intelligence and everything that entails. It's not so much about what technology can do. It's what about people now can do, which they couldn't do before, and more important things which people don't need to do anymore. And that's one of the hard things for people to adjust to. If you come to me and say, the things you've given your life, well, we actually don't need it anymore. That is a terrible shock for a person, for a person's self-esteem. They are so invested in what they are. But we need to find ways of being able to help people through this. It's not we don't need you anymore. We need you more than ever. But we need you to bring your skills and your personality and your energy in a different way into a different place than you have in the past, and to be able to do things that couldn't be done before. So, for example, in terms of efficiency, we spoke earlier about that need for productivity and efficiency. Technology makes us more and more efficient. People aren't efficient, and technology is efficient. So clearly, if there are matters of efficiency, that needs to be done by technology. But there are things we need to do that aren't efficient. And I think we're at a moment now in the evolution of life and of business where we've got to start valuing the things that are not efficient. We haven't had time for that. And it's been so important. So now, yes, there's a part that has to be efficient. That's the factory part. Let technology take care of the efficiency part. But when it comes to human relationships, to connections, to innovation, these are things that don't happen in an instant. These are things that do need time. These are things that happen slower. You can't make wine in an instant. There is a maturation process. If you're going to make good wine, it's going to take time. And the more efficient you try to be, the worse the wine is going to taste and the worse an experience it's going to be for the person who buys the wine. And now there are parts of the process you can make efficient by using technology. You can move your barrels around efficiently. You can fill the bottles efficiently. You can deliver the bottles to the stores efficiently. There are areas where you can do things efficiently, but you can't produce the wine efficiently in that sense. You've got to be willing to slow down. And I think one of our challenges, both in personal life and in business life now, is what is for slow and what is for fast. What do I know? If what I'm doing is all about outcome, then the faster the better. But if the process is important, then slowing down might be important, and we've got to be able to do that. And I think personal well-being is affected by that. I think we all have driven ourselves crazy with the belief that everything has to be fast. And the inability, it's an incredibly hard thing to do, to live in the fast lane in one part of our lives and simultaneously in a slower lane in another part of our lives. But the metaphor that I use for that is a spinning wheel. So if a wheel might be spinning at such a speed that the outer periphery of the wheel is spinning at a massive rate, but as you move closer to the core of the wheel, it's slower and slower. And theoretically, if you get to the very, very core, it's not moving at all. And yet it's all one wheel. And our lives are like that. Our lives are spinning, and they need to spin because that's how we get balance. But we need to know when we're living at the edge and we're spinning really fast, and when we come back to the center. And we need to know how to center ourselves. People use the phrase a lot. It's being centered, centering yourself. What does that mean? How do you do it? That's becoming increasingly important. And for a business, there are times when a business has to slow down. and do some thinking and just experience things. A business is an organism as well, just as any other organism. There are times it needs to slow down. And the art is to know when to speed up and when to slow down.
So as leaders, being an architect or being the beacon, sort of knowing when to sort of doing the hovering approach and getting into it. So that brings a topic of trust. Trust, hiring, and as a leader, first of all, what does leadership mean in a small business, large business? And who are leaders in a company? And how do we create this environment where each person has autonomy over their work and the leaders are able to support them while also allow them to do their job, the teams that they've hired?
Leadership I've always defined as any situation. It's about a situation, not about a person. I don't believe there are leaders and non-leaders. I think at any moment in life, you are leading or you are following. And leadership is any situation where you are needing to inspire another person or people to change their thoughts, their actions, or their attitudes when there's a need to do that. So when you're selling, you're leading. When you're teaching, you're leading. In a conversation, the leadership role switches in seconds from one person to the other. One person is leading, one person is following, and it switches. So it's a dance with one partner taking the lead and the other following, and then being able to switch. That's what leadership is, being able to be attuned to the fact that I'm now in a leadership moment, and therefore I've got to use those skills of leadership. And I use the word inspire because that's what leadership is. Leadership is not compelling change. Hitler was not a good leader. And the reason he wasn't a good leader is not because he didn't get people to follow him. Sure, he got people to follow him magnificently, better than any modern leader we know. But he did it through fear. That's not leadership. That's bullying. Leadership is to be able to inspire people to change and to do it, to be able to do it not through fear. And that's something important, again, in our lives in general and in our work lives. How do I inspire another person to want to do things differently, to want to think differently, to want to act and behave in a way that is differently? I think at the moment, in the world as it is at the moment, we're dealing with that, with a lot of bullying and noise and shouting, instead of being able to share ideas, disagree, and try to inspire others to see things the way we do or not, and just respect people for seeing things differently. That respect of diversity, and that again doesn't just mean respect of people who look different, but people who are different in the way they see the world and the way they function, the way they work. That respect is a foundation of trust. Trust is not to be confused with reliability. People say that if you do what you say enough times, people learn to trust you. No, they learn to rely on you. Trust is different. Trust is you meet somebody you've never met before, and you say to yourself, I would trust my life with this person. I would let this person babysit my children. How do you know? And sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we trust people and we find we were wrong. But it's a decision we make in an instant. It's a flow of energy that you feel, this is somebody I can trust. This person might not be 100% reliable, but that's not what trust means. Reliability is one value, and it's an important value. And trust is something else. Trust is feeling that the other person is able to have my interests, or to put my interests first, that the person has that capacity. Whether they do put my interests first or not, that's the second part of the conversation. But to feel that the person has that capacity, that's the decision we make really quickly. When you walk into a store and you're about to buy something, or you're about to buy a house from a real estate person, or you make a very quick decision, do I think this person has the capacity to put my interests first? And if the answer is no, then at least I know where I stand. I don't trust this person. Doesn't mean I don't deal with them, I don't work with them, but it's not in the realm of trust. That ability, it becomes so important in leadership, because what I've got to be able to do is inspire trust. I've got to be able to give people the sense that I have the capacity and the will to put their interests first. And that's something that I would actually do. And then you have a collaborative will, because if you and I are working together and we know that each of us will put the other's interests first, we don't have to watch our backs. We can now move forward and do exciting things, knowing that we don't have to watch our backs. And it's just a very beautiful environment in which to operate. And we often don't realize how much energy and power is released by projecting trust, by being trustworthy. And being trustworthy means I inspire in other people the sense that I'm able to put others before myself. I'm able to put a purpose before myself. I'm able to put myself second. Those are the really shocking leaders, are the ones who you feel put themselves first.
And this genuine interest, it sounds like the leaders have in their people. When there is trust, that's I am here to inspire, I'm here and I trust you. And if we make a mistake or when we get off track, we'll together figure it out. And that faith. If you like the content of this video, please don't forget to follow. And also, if you want more information, visit the website, Yogi Patel, TTE.com.